Okay, so his job now is to focus on the Chargers. I understand that. And so he responded now to these allegations, Clinton. What did you make of his quick but noted response to what's happening at Michigan?
So I'm from D.C., the capital of the United States of America. I covered politics for a while. That was a very Senate committee hearing type of answer.
Yeah, it was.
In terms of tone and in terms of vibe. And I want to be delicate with this here because here's the thing. I like Jim Harbaugh a lot. I think that what he contributes to college football, did contribute to college football, just his general presence in the football world is one that I enjoy. But this doesn't feel good. It feels very akin to not so long ago when all those basketball coaches got caught up in things, and the only brothers that actually went to jail were the assistant coaches or got punishments after everything was revealed with gift giving and so forth. The specificity of the rules and the violations is one thing. But to kind of get out of town and leave Brown holding the bag while you go to the pros and then look at it and say, hey, I wasn't there, I don't know. But if you were there and it had been you, would you have said the same thing? It's not like he didn't have to sit out games for what happened with the spying thing. And it's not even about me passing judgment on what the violations are, because these rules that they have these days are so ridiculous. Lord knows. You send the wrong Twitter DM to somebody and you get banged for a game. Like, who knows? But the way that this is looked in terms of his responsibility and how it's shown upon his time at Michigan, I think is a little unbecoming of him for who he's been in the football world as a class guy who knows how to win games as well.
See, I love this. I love it just because I find it so hilarious. And I think the way you started it was so perfect. It's exactly what you would see in D.C.
Yeah.
It's the when things go well, I'm the man. It was me. I came back to my alma mater. I restored you to prominence. I led you to a national championship. I'm the center of this. I'm the guy. We won. We did it. I'm the guy. I'm going to leave now because I'm going to take a better job. And, oh, wait, there's the allegation. That ain't me. That's not my problem. That is your problem to deal with. How dare you even ask me? He should have done the Palmero and pointed right at the screen as well, right? Like, do the whole thing because no one's going to do anything about it. The thing is, if we had real, true victims here, this wouldn't be a laughing matter. This is a goofy college football story where guys are trying to get a leg up on one another. They get caught. They all throw their hands up in the air. He goes running. He gets a guaranteed deal with the Chargers. Life is good. No one will ever remember this. No one at Michigan will ever blame him for this. Every college football fan on earth would sell out to get a title.
Sure.
You would sell all this out to get a title. So it's fun to discuss. And you're right. It's to the point.
Well, that's why I don't think it's necessary for him to run away from it. It's like, bro, sorry, check the scoreboard. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to worry about my text messages or his either. Like, if it's not that big of a deal, then you can own that too. That's where I find that this is a little bit odd in tact.
I did it, so what?
Yeah, right.
See, you're being so eloquent about this and understanding, like, the casualties and all of this. I look at this like Jim Harbaugh channeling Conor McGregor. I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I felt in watching that Oscar-worthy performance from him at the podium yesterday. Because look at the casualties in terms of just like the damage. There's level 1 violations for Sharon Moore potentially in this notice of allegations, several level 2 violations, a potential show cause for Sharon Moore, which would be. I don't personally think he's going anywhere. I think this is the NCAA throwing this all out on the table. We know that Michigan and all these people are going to end up lawyering up. It's going to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. But it's not a great look for him to continue on this thing of this was my program and I didn't know any of this stuff was going on. Like, to me, this reminds me, do you guys remember the tweet that Hugh Freeze sent out when he was at Ole Miss? I think it was like, mid-2010s. It was when I was covering recruiting down there. And it's like, if you have a known compliance violation, please send it to something at Ole Miss. It gave the email account, and stop slandering these young men and their families. And of course, we know the recruiting violations that program got hit with later on, but that was a CYA move of, look, I may not be seeing it, I may not be involved in all these day-to-day things that are going on behind the scenes, but if you know enough of it to speak on it, then speak on it. You can't tell me that Jim Harbaugh didn't have some idea within your program. Then that's true lack of institutional control. If you have no idea that Connor Stallin's a volunteer assistant within your programs going to scout 50-something games on his own with no resources?
Bro,
how does that work?
Listen.
Did we have to go that far with I was always taught this, I taught, just be like, I have no knowledge of it, my focus is the Chargers. I just didn't, why did we need the whole?
The energy here is big.
That's Harbaugh.
I didn't need the whole
It's the brilliance of Harbaugh.
It's big, Maury, you are the father. It's like, dude, Stop it, okay? We know what happened. Your man Sharon was on here crying on national television, shedding tears for you. You trying to tell me you don't know nothing about that or weren't involved at all? I'm not buying that.
Everyone who stayed at Michigan, by the way, they all knew this was coming. So if you stayed and got your new contracts, you knew you were going to deal with something to this extent. They just won a national championship. They have no pressure whatsoever. It's fine to ride this out. For Harbaugh, to your point, why can't he just come out? Everything for Harbaugh is a competition. Breakfast is a competition. So if he's going to go out and face the media, in his mind, he's going to go out there, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat the media at this. They think they're going to come at me. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. It's how I was raised. It's how I raise everybody else. Next question. It's hilarious.
I just don't like leaving Sharon more in the fray there, because that's not fair.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he didn't have to stay. He gets a new guaranteed deal. Michigan knows what's coming. He's going to be taken care of.
We have an expanded CFP.
Yes.
You have to tell me right now, does Michigan make it?
No, that schedule's no good. They only have 7 starters back. McCarthy's gone. Harbaugh's gone. They'll lose the Oregon game. They'll lose the Ohio State game. They'll probably lose the Texas game. The road trip to Washington is problematic. They're not making the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they get an at-large bid. I think Ohio State wins the Big Ten, and they are one of the 12.
Okay.
You guys
Very
are pumped about the
vastly
newly
different.
extended Big Ten?
Hell yeah.
How excited are you? I have to watch it now as an LA resident. It's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, you
That's
have
where they
to.
are.
Welcome.
Yeah.
What do you think?
UCLA
You
is
think
in
Michigan
LA.
makes
Did you know that?
the CFP?
Yeah, I did hear that they're in LA. That's all I heard, but I heard that. I think Michigan's got as good a chance as any team that's at the top of that conference, but I do think that there's just enough smoke and noise for this team to get distracted. It's one thing for Harbaugh to step away for a couple games when their team was as good as they were last year. It's another to go into a season with half the things on fire.
Remember, Jim Harbaugh suspended for a total of 6 games last season. 3 were by the NCAA. The next 3 were instituted by the Big Ten. And so we shall see what happens with Michigan going forward.
Give me something.